Welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. Our Patreon supporters get access to a cool series on wartime life in Ukraine. From this series, you can learn how ordinary Ukrainians live in times of invasion, what they eat, how they travel, celebrate, what music they listen to, and much more. Our latest episode is about education in times of invasion. To subscribe to our Patreon, follow the link in the description below. My name is Artem, and here is the news. 193 days Ukraine stands strong against the forces of the Russian invasion. In his evening video address, President Volodymyr Zelensky informed that Ukrainian forces managed to liberate one settlement in the Donetsk region and two in the south of Ukraine. According to the officials of his office, among the latter two is the village of Vysokopilya in the Kherson region. Volodymyr Zelensky informed that he spoke yesterday with President of the European Commission Ursula von der Leyen. The President of Ukraine expressed gratitude for the support already provided and for the efforts to limit Russian excess profits from oil and gas. The sides discussed possible new sanction steps, including pan-European visa decision regarding Russian citizens, so that none of those involved in the war can enjoy European hospitality. Previously, National Security Advisor John Kirby said that the US does not consider it necessary to impose visa restrictions against all Russians in connection with Russia's war against Ukraine, reports Deutsche Welle. In an interview with the Russian TV channel Dost, Kirby said that the US introduced restrictions for individual Russians, but it's important not to hold all Russians accountable for Putin's actions. Prime Minister of Ukraine Denis Shmyhal visited Germany yesterday and met German Chancellor Olaf Scholz and President Frank-Walter Steinmeier, reports European Pravda. With the Chancellor, they discussed the situation at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, and Shmyhal suggested sending a joint EU-UN special mission there to ensure security. The Prime Minister also raised questions of weapons supply to Ukraine. He thanked Germany for the provided support, especially artillery Panzerhaubitze 2000 and multiple rocket launchers Mars 2, and discussed the idea of providing Ukraine with tanks Leopard 2. Putin's spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said that Russia is ready for negotiations with Ukraine, but only about how Kyiv will fulfill Moscow's demands, reports Ukrainska Pravda. He added that the war in Ukraine, which they call special military operation, is going according to the plan and all goals will be achieved. The General Staff of Ukraine informs that the enemy tries to create favorable conditions for the resumption of the offensive, searches for weak points in Ukrainian defense, and tries to improve its own tactical position, reports Union. The Ukrainian troops successfully repelled the enemy's offensive in the areas of the settlements of Bakhmutske, Vesela Dolina, Zaitseve, Kodema, and Soledar in the Bakhmut direction, as well as in the areas of the settlements of Pervomaiske, Vodyane, and Nevelske in the Avdiivka direction. After intensive shelling by the Ukrainian forces of areas where the enemy is concentrated in the Kherson region, the Russian invaders imposed a ban on the movement of local residents. In particular, people are prohibited from crossing the Dnipro River both by bridges and by watercraft. In case of violation of the ban, the occupiers threaten to open fire. Forced mobilization continues in the temporarily occupied territories of Ukraine. In Donetsk, the Russian invaders found a new source of replenishment of losses in manpower. So recently, representatives of the Russian occupation army began to arrive at local hospitals in the city and forcefully discharge patients. Men of military age with various diseases or injuries, including those wounded during hostilities who are undergoing treatment, are conscripted again. About 2,000 people of mostly Russian origin gathered yesterday at a protest in Cologne, Germany, reports Novinarnya. They demanded that Germany end its support for Ukraine and lift sanctions against Russia. Reportedly, they were also protesting against NATO and gathering money for whom they called separatist forces of Donbass. About 3 million people of Russian origin live in Germany, many of whom are heavily influenced by Kremlin propaganda. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine. Thank you.